Hello there. Today we are going to be doing an actual development session. For those of you who watched our first video, it was a bit of an overview with some light development as we encountered bugs, like two bugs. But yeah, today you're seeing my to-do list of things I need to knock out before we release this closed alpha. So let's dig in. I've hidden the info stuff. Just I don't think that's as good to stream or record since it's a little more sensitive. But gameplay things are where I think the bulk of the work is gonna be in the next week or two. And info is just a couple last security things and deployment stuff. But yeah, gameplay, a couple things here, some testing. I built this ruins exploration feature pretty early on. This is actually how you find dungeons, so it's a piece of gameplay you can decide to focus on, which is exploring for locations in the wilderness. Some of those locations have ruins, which is a type of gatherable actually. And the gathering action of ruins is to study them, and you unlock knowledge. And some of that knowledge is actually languages, which allow you to read runes better. And some of that knowledge is hints towards things, and some of those hints lead you to dungeons. You can build up knowledge about certain dungeons, and dungeons are like the end game content, which can be retried. But basically, it's like a race to see who discovers the dungeon first. Once discovered, people can start, well, not once discovered, but you discover it, you can attempt it, you can go through it. It has sort of a random amount of floors to it that spawn different kinds of enemies, and you eventually get to the boss. And if you beat the boss, you've cleared the dungeon for the time being, and it actually despawns globally for everyone, that one dungeon, and then can be reattempted once someone's discovered it again after some cooldown. So you clear it, maybe a day, a week later, it's going to respawn, which means you can start exploring for ruins again that unlock that dungeon, and you can find it again. So you go through this cycle of having explorers find ruins that help you unlock dungeons, and different kind of ruins give you more knowledge, and rarer ruins are better. And then once it's unlocked, you still have some time. I mean, one party could clear it, and it doesn't go away immediately. There's a bit of a buffer. So it's not just one mega party or one mega guild clearing every dungeon. Like, even if they're doing that, you can still follow them, and as long as you're reasonably fast, probably clear it. But anyway, that's just the gameplay loop that I built a while ago for endgame content, and it is going to be in closed alpha. There is one dungeon being released, probably one to fast follow, and I want to test that. I won't pontificate as much on the others, but if you're a member of a guild versus just having levels, you should get discounts on purchases. Have not built that, should be easy. This is kind of just content. I need to add some more features to locations like guilds. I can do that using my tool I'll show. Same thing for this. The camp feature, real quick, and I know I used the word feature in multiple ways. This is a game feature, not like a feature on a location in the game. The camp feature is supposed to let you set up a temporary homestead, basically, where you can't build buildings, but it's really meant for, I discovered a really great location, or like I encountered an enemy and looted them, and I have all this heavy stuff, and I don't have a cart or donkey with me. What do? Well, I don't want to lose it. That's kind of feels bad. I can't really leave it anywhere. Well, that's what the camp is for. You can set up one camp at a time, is the idea, using a campground kit. So, 50-pound type of kit or something. And it sort of claims a copy of that instance for you without any resources on it. So it's not for gathering. That's maybe a little TBD, but probably not for gathering. It's really intended for that one use case of you encountered something, you mined something, you want to leave it there so you can go back and get transportation and come back and collect your things. That's what it's for. I think it's just an annoying thing that will happen if it's not there, so I kind of want it in release. Market sell prices is like balancing buy and sell prices so that people can make money buying some sort of intermediary good like an iron ingot as opposed to a iron ore if they don't want to smelt it, and maybe make money by taking the iron ingot and making it to a sword blade and selling it back to the market. So you can make money outside of quests by gathering. Pretty straightforward. You go and you gather, you get stuff, you sell it. But I want to make sure that players are able to make money without dealing with other players, just by buying ingredients at different tiers and selling them at like a tier higher at these NPC markets. Obviously, the idea is that you won't make a lot of money doing that. You'll make better money probably fulfilling player demand, which will be higher once it scales up, but that should be there for some initial money making. I actually did this yesterday, the all T1 and T2 combat skills. Just a brief on this. The guilds I'm releasing quests for are the crafting guilds for the closed alpha. The combat, and every guild is a bit of a combat crafting mixture or combat gathering mixture, but there are guilds who are more combat focused. The Assassin's Guild is more combat focused than the Mining Guild or than the Blacksmithing Guild, for instance. So because of that, typically in the full game, you would unlock more combat skills through and like higher level combat skills by doing quests for the more combat oriented guilds. They're not there, so instead they're all for sale at different prices at the local garrison, and that's done. So I'm gonna slash this, and if I remember how to slash things in Notion, there we go. Icons, I added the Tailor's Guild and the Carpenter Guild sort of later on. I need to make an icon for them. I probably won't do that in the video, and I'll probably use AI to do that, but the icons for the guilds and the like species portraits are the two things I think that I have AI portraits for still, and once we get up to a reasonable player count, I'll probably commission an artist locally to go and make new ones. Okay, a lot of talking. We'll dig in a second. Last one is also sort of content. The T2 combat skills, to be clear. I haven't fully defined them yet. So T1 combat skills are things like swords, axes, spears. It's the basic weapon types you can use. Tier 2 combat skills are a mixture of better weapons, so things like katanas or halberds. So they're sort of explicitly better than the base like long sword or short sword, but you can't use them without the corresponding T2 combat skill. So like you give up a skill slot to use them, and you also unlock like certain moves that are unique to katanas and stuff, but you do give up a skill slot just to be able to use the weapon because it's better. So that's like one chunk of T2 combat skills. Probably half of them are like that, and the other half are what I'm calling styles. And style skills are, and I want to do all of them here, so let's say style. Style skills are things like stabbing is a style skill. It's one of the basic ones, right? If you want to be better about stabbing, so any stab moves get a buff from that skill. There's another one, poison. So using poisons on your weapon can be buffed. So you can mix and match. The style skills can be mixed and matched in basically any way, and they're all good and sort of independently good. And so you could be a mounted, axe wielding person who happens to be good at deflecting arrows, and like that's a combination of skills. And so I would like all of the T2 style skills and weapon skills to be available for purchase. I need to finish the definitions, which is mostly done in a spreadsheet, frankly, because I can define everything in these spreadsheets I load. And I might show some of that today, but less interesting than some of the actual like dev work. Okay, that's what we're working on. We'll see how much we do. I want this video to be shorter, maybe like 30 minutes than the last one. Maybe I'll be inspired and we'll go an hour, but I think it should be shorter. So let's start. Let's start with this testing. Do ruins work at all? What would I do? And this is an under the hood look into what the heck is going on. I want to make sure. So this is my admin tool. I usually test in like the grasslands and autumn hills and stuff. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I don't want to go and fight 10,000 enemies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and edit biomes, and I'm going to edit the Salation Road biome, because that's the biome I am traveling on mostly when I'm testing. You can see there are no resources on Salation Road, which kind of makes sense. Actually, I take that back. I might do Salation Grasslands. Yeah, let's do that, because this does have resources. You can see it as Salation, Animal Tracks. Okay. My live thought process here. Okay, there are no ruins in the Salation Grasslands, and actually, you can see that here, and I don't mind revealing this, because clearly I'm not really, just not any sort of crazy weighting here. I mean, this number is the weight, so there's an equal chance of barley and corn spawning or sorghum spawning in a spot that can spawn these forageable resources. The only ore that can spawn in this biome is flint, and the only tracks are animal tracks, and you can actually see this breaks down into different animals. The main point about tracks is you don't see who they belong to until you investigate them, which is why it's not specified here. But no ruins. So let's go look at a biome with ruins. I'm pretty sure Autumn Hills has some ruins. So, Ancient Dwean Ruins. And actually, this is kind of a placeholder. I have to sort of rename some of the ruins, like what ancient races or species or civilizations they correspond to. So I'm not really giving anything away right now because it's they're kind of placeholders. But you can see, some more tracks and things here. These weightings are more real as well. But great, Ancient Dwean Ruins. We should have a pretty good chance of getting those. Let's double check what dynamic location it is. And so these are the sort of wilderness locations that can spawn when you just explore things. So here's one. This is like this slope. And just a little preview onto this. What's happening here is, if I go down a bit more, maybe I'll stay here. This blob, these are basically forageable resources. This tree blob and this tree blob are tree resources, and that's it. And so if you go here, it'll pick a random tree resource for each tree group and a random forageable resource for the bush group, and instantiate them when you discover this location. And this is now a location that exists in the world for everyone. They're recycled every couple days, and old ones are despawned after some amount of time, and new ones are respawned, so it's constantly changing. The quality is determined somewhat randomly as well. And yeah, you can come in here and you can gather what happens to be here. But we're going to look at, I think, Hidden Valley. So, okay, great. So we have some ruins, we have some rocks, we have some forageable things, and we have some tracks. So based on what's available in our biome, so Hidden Valley, we will be able to find, let's go back to Autumn Hills, we will be able to find some Ancient Dwean Ruins, tracks, I can show you how those map out later, basalt, might be saying that wrong, and iron. So there are two different ores. You've twice as much of a chance of getting basalt as iron, and then for trees, you have birch trees, oak trees, I think we're missing one. See, this is good. We're going through it. Autumn Grove. So there are these trees called autumn trees. Why are they called autumn trees? Well, maybe you'll find out why they're called autumn trees, and it's not just autumn, and why is it just here? Maybe you'll find out. But I needed to add that. Okay, so Ancient Dwean Ruins, Autumn Hills, great. We need to go and check out what's happening with locations. Let's see. Do we have locations? Oh my gosh, I spawned a bunch of locations. You see all these purple dots? These are locations. Those are dynamic locations. Those are like the wilderness. So when I run my script to spawn locations in the wilderness, it just goes through every biome that's been configured for the alpha. So kind of like this area. And it spawns them at a different density based on the biome, so I can define that. We're interested in the Autumn Hills. We probably have some, what was it called again? It was called Hidden Valley, I think, right? Hidden Valley. Okay, well let's cheat a little bit. So let's do this. Let's find some locations. Select ID from location where name equals Hidden Valley. And I try to make these unique per location. A lot of them. Great. Okay. I should have done this. Well, okay. Select EXY from location where ID equals 5.8 Great. So I'm gonna cheat again. We could travel, right? I mean, what would happen in real gameplay is I'm here at Selkirk. I could travel, you know, and I have my infinite health, which I'm learning my lesson now. You can take a peek at my health here. You know, I have 0 hunger and thirst and some fatigue, but I've cheated and had a lot of health. So I'm just gonna leave that for now. But I could travel up here. Ooh, I am logged out. Good. This is oh, you're seeing some stuff. Oof, what account is my account here? I think it's this. All right, you'll have to wait 1 minute while I get logged in here. 907-825. 907-825. That's my cookie expiring. Great. Love to see that. And we're back. And we're back. Great. Okay, so again, traveling. This is what I would do. I would travel here. I'm not going to do it. I would go over here, and then I would explore some radius. You know, see my little blue circle here. I can do 20. The time it takes to explore is proportional to the area of the circle. I have it set to a very low value right now, like the constant multiplier, but it is correctly scaling. What you would do is you would move somewhere over there and you would explore in some radius depending on what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to find any location, then you could keep the radius pretty tight. If you sort of knew something was in a certain area, you could keep the radius bigger and look in the whole area. And then you might find a location. So actually, let me show you that real quick. So I'll do this. Don't mind the sirens outside. It's just like this here. Okay, and then values, we'll do 26, 528, and 8. 8 is full. What did I do? Insert into player location. Oh, update. Insert into player location. Yeah, so accuracy. You know, maybe I'll show this real quick because I think it's interesting. Let's do accuracy 4. So this is not full accuracy, but if we take a look, there's now this blue circle, and I can hide it if I want. And this blue circle is telling me there is a location I've discovered somewhere in here, and if I hit inspect, at some point I can, I don't know actually if you can click a, yeah, maybe you can't. Okay, but I know there's a location here. Great. I want it to be full accuracy, so let's update this. So update, actually let's update player location, set accuracy equals 8, where location ID equals 528. Okay. Now we're going to see that change into a pin. It's blue because I've never looked at it before, and if I look at it and then refresh, it's going to be red. I'm going to cheat and teleport there real quick. What was it? 669 equals 862, where ID equals 26. Okay. Boom, I'm here. So local zoom. You can see, same thing. So great. So far, so good. Things are working. Interestingly, there's nothing here. I think I spawned these locations a while ago before I had added the foraging items, although I am going to make a little note of that just to double check. I know I had a bugs page before, but I think this is more of a note. Check foraging resources for autumn hills. Config. Okay. Great, but we're back here. I'm gonna move myself back to the right. Okay, so iron ore, autumn hills. You know, I could follow some animals. I'm not gonna do it. I could mine some iron, which actually I can't do because I have no pickaxe. Right, there we go. But I can. Oh, there's an AI generated image here. Maybe we'll replace that eventually. Inspect this, and like I said, this is one of the first things I built. So back then there were more AI images to just set up the initial state. I'm going to gather some ruins. Actually, before I do this, I have no knowledge, just FYI. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to gather it. Successfully gathered ruins inspection. That message could probably be a little more intuitive. I've already inspected the ruin. Ruins are one and done. So what does studying a ruin twice do? Nothing. But I now have a language, unknown ruins. I've learned some things. I've learned some unknown ruins. Great. Now, what should happen, and I'm forgetting now, that's why we're testing it, is I should get language updates. I should level up my language as I study runes with a certain language, and I should unlock the bonuses. It might be that I didn't unlock a bonus because I didn't have the language, so I'm just going to cheat again a little bit. So I'm going to select all from player knowledge. Okay, ancient Dwayne, great. I'm just going to level this up. Okay, player knowledge at level equals. I'm just going to be pretty darn proficient at this. 20. Most things level to 31 in this game. So 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 is like basic, beginner, novice, whatever. 11 to 20 is sort of intermediate. 21 to 30 is advanced, and then 31 is master. And we call it different things for knowledge, skills, and reputation, but that's the leveling generally. I guess basic understanding is the intermediate for language. Okay. Great, I have a solid understanding of the script structure and common usage. Cool, very cool. Let's do this. Let's find another of these. We did 528. Let's do 531. Okay, insert into player location, ID, location ID, accuracy, values 26. 531, 8, select X, Y from location where ID equals 531, update player set X equals 886, Y equals 839. Okay, that should have done it. Okay, good. Okay, we're here, zoom in, another one. We're gonna study it. We did things, yay. Okay, what happened? And we got it, very cool. Interestingly, I'm getting this sword technique, which may or may not be a real thing. I should have leveled up my language a little bit. It might have not done a full level because I've already studied this one. And it's a pretty high level, so I get a penalty as I go higher. Let's look at a couple things. Let's look at my player knowledge again. 20. It didn't level up. This should be a float. I'm just gonna make a note of that too. Okay. Language knowledge. So that's that. I would like to know why I'm getting the Imperial Sword technique and not the dungeon. So I'm gonna go. I was working on the Carpentry Guild quests earlier. I'm gonna go and look at this definition. I'm trying to remember where this is. I think it's under Gaia, which is like my spawning logic. Under resources, and we got ruins. Ancient Dween Ruins 1. Great. Some display names. You can see like you learn more as you go. Blah, blah, blah. Descriptions, fine. This. Okay. Ruins data. So I clearly have a thing here. Skill. Is this my only ruins? I might have changed it to test stuff. Well, yeah, it is. Okay, we're going to update this, and I have to remember what the correct formatting is. And clearly, I haven't populated ruins for anything else. So even if this works, I also have the task to populate ruins. We need to populate ruins for each relevant biome. I think this is like forests and stuff. You know, you're only going to find ruins in more difficult biomes. So I think it's going to be like probably the southern tip of the Galen Woods, the Old Forest, Autumn Hills, maybe the Luiniag Woods, which are these 3 woods, TBD. Maybe the Hollow Hills, although I'm not sure I added the Hollow Hills to alpha. We'll see. Okay, back to this. We're going to change this up a tad. I'm going to ruins data skill. I don't want skill. I want a couple of points here. Variation is like what instance of this ruin it is. So you get diminishing returns for studying the same instance. Yeah, and that's about that. Let's do, I don't think it's called skill though. I need to figure out how to teach myself. Okay, here, let's go look at knowledge. There should be a knowledge folder somewhere. Knowledge, languages, rumors, symbols. I think it's gonna be symbols. No, rumors. Interesting. So I know at one point this worked, but I wonder if I deleted it so that I could test something else. Let's look at dungeons, which you're going to see some of the notes. That's fine. This is just, no, this is just a dungeon config. I might blur that out in the video. And this is actually an incomplete dungeon I had. Dungeon expiry. Okay. Well, when in doubt, consult with Claude code. Okay. I did hear something about Claude being down earlier. Hopefully it's back up. Okay, I'm testing the ruins gathering feature where I gain knowledge by gathering at a ruins feature in a discovered dynamic location. I know that at one point we had set it up so that there was a knowledge type corresponding to each dungeon, so that maxing out that knowledge type revealed the location of the dungeon. Can you look and see if we have any code related to that? So maybe I deleted it by accident. It's not crazy if I don't, because I think I would just create a new knowledge type and add the bonus for that type in a certain level, which would be discovering a specific dungeon. But let's let it do its thing, and while it does its thing, we will go and do something else. So what can we do in the meantime? Let's do this. So let's start with a Mason's Guild. Let's do that. We need to add Mason's Guilds to different features. I'm going to add it to cities. So I'm going to add every guild to Cathay. Actually, Cathay area has everything. To Riogacht and to Philic. Those are my 2 cities. So I want every guild, at least every guild that has quests, for now, to be added to those 3 cities. And then I think I might sprinkle in some, maybe Hallaig too. I think most quest chains have something in Hallaig. So I think I'll do the 3 cities and Hallaig, and then beyond that, maybe sprinkle some in between Selkirk, Flores, and Colrose. Okay, let's start with Riogacht. So Riogacht, let's see what we have. We have shipping dock, stables, market, blacksmith, noble item, the Maple Club. What's that? Making a new one. We will start with Culinary Guild. You can see I've already done this at one point. It's a guild. That's all I really need. Your local Culinary Guilds. Okay. And I just want to make sure that I got that config right. So I'm going to look at Cafetier, which is sort of my point of reference. Culinary Guild. Craft. Yes, you need. I should probably just copy this, to be honest. Okay. Riogacht. That's the wrong thing. Riogacht is here. And then we're going to do Culinary Guilds. That. And craft. Great. Okay. That's Culinary Guild. Let's do 2 more. Let's do double check. We have blacksmiths. We need carpentry, tailors. What's it called? It's called guilds. Guilds is tailors guilds. Okay. Here we go. Where do we go? We'll do tailors guilds. Guild craft, local tailors guilds. We will need to go and update the crafting options at some point, but we'll do that later. Tailors guild, carpentry guilds, guild craft, and this just means there's like guild options there. You can click like quests and stuff and unlocks and crafting stations that you can use whether or not you're a guild member, although there'll be a discount if you're a guild member, which we're going to maybe build today. Local carpentry guild. Amazing. What did I say? Guilds. Sorry. Culinary, carpentry, blacksmiths, tailoring. Right. Add an existing feature. So tailor, culinary. Is it Tailors Guild? Tailoring Guild? Tailors Guild. Okay. Masons Guild. That's the one I forgot. Looks like Claude's ready too. Let's do Mason's Guild, and then we'll do that. Mason's Guild, Guild Craft. And this is often what I do. I'm multitasking while Claude does stuff. Local Mason's Guild. Great. Okay, that's that. And this is actually updating the JSON. In this case, in some cases, it touches the local DB. That's only really for locations, because obviously then I need to do it in production. And I have a script that actually mirrors all non-dynamic locations to production from dev, which I will be using at some point. Whew, okay. Yes, this is fully implemented. Core logic is in here. Language, reward logic. Once your knowledge reaches the threshold defined by the reward language level, you start accumulating reward knowledge. Dungeon reveal. Okay. Recipe or location. So that's kind of the main thing. So I wanted to do maybe, well, how do we define, is it just the name of the dungeon? I think if I'm remembering properly, where's the resources file? You don't actually define a separate file for the dungeon. So this will be dungeon. And we're going to do Roots of the First Mountains. That's the name of the first dungeon. Great. Okay. We're good. We need to find another location. Let's do it. So 531, let's do 529. Okay, insert into their location. And how long has this been so far? Using OBS, and I don't know where the, 34 minutes. So we have actually spent half an hour. Maybe we'll go the full hour, we'll see. Player ID, location, ID, accuracy. 26, 529, 8. Equals 529. Update player set x equals 9 equals 808. Okay. Oof. Big oof. Let's go back here. We're here. Zoom in. Let's keep studying. Let's keep studying. Interesting. Probably the issue is I need to restart the server, I think. If I was to guess, which I often do. Okay, server's back up. Let's do one more. And let's just make sure I saved the file too. Save. Resources. Oh no, you know what it is? When this spawned, so okay, when I spawn locations, when I run the script that clears out old locations and creates new ones, it takes all this data and it puts it in the database, which would make sense. So let's despawn our locations. Let's do that. Okay, we deleted 1,172. Well, no, we found that many. Interesting. Oh, that's features. Okay, 424 locations. Now we're gonna do spawn locations. I think it's like spawn. What is it? I have two. I have spawn locations config. Spawn locations config, which means this is the one with density. Actually, no, we're gonna do the original one. Spawn locations, because I just want to spawn them in Autumn Hills. I don't want to do some crazy amount. We'll do 5. What did I do wrong here? Can't open file. .py. Great. Boom. Very nice. Let's take a look. So select ID x, y from location where main equals hidden valley. Many fewer. So this worked. And now we'll do the same thing. Insert into player location, location ID, player ID, accuracy, values 951, 26, 8. Let's take a look. We did not, it's over there. You can see on the left side of my screen. But we did not update my player's location. So update player set x equals 645, y equals 860. Amazing. Okay, let's take a look. Studying. That didn't work. Also, we're not getting any levels in this, so that's interesting. What does the server have to say? Okay, some live debugging here. Let's look at this specific feature. Select ID name from feature where location ID is 951. Select all from feature function where feature ID is 2245. Okay, this is correct. We got roots of the first mountain here. Roots of the first mountains. Yep. Okay, what did Claude say again? JSON configs, roots of the first mountains, that's right. Um, Ancient Dwayne. Yeah, it's not really working. Let's just take a look here. Resources. Ancient Dwayne. Where's the first mountain? Okay, nothing in the logs. Let's see. We got boots. No, not really. Nothing really in my logs here. All right. I'm just scrolling through to see if I can find where I did the ruins. I bounced around a bunch. Nothing that's really clear. Oh, wait. I do see a 400 here. Applying survival costs for ruins. Found 0 quests. Okay. Okay. So we did this. Ruins quality kept by skill, that's fine. Applying survival costs, applying that. Roots of First Mountains, great. Okay. I updated the Ancient Dwayne Ruins 1 to have a dungeon knowledge type rather than a skill, but I'm not getting that knowledge type added to my player knowledge after gathering at a ruin. I checked and the table entry for that ruin has the updated values. Here are some logs. Alright, let's let it spin for a minute, and while it spins, I'm being mindful of time, 42 minutes, we can wrap up at least the debugging. I want to get to a point where I know how to configure it, I know what will work, and I'm basically at a point where I know we'll trigger the dungeon, and I can just go ahead and, on my own time, populate the values. That's the issue. It looks for these keys. Oh, it's location, not dungeon. Ugh. Okay. Which makes sense. I mean, I guess it's not like dungeon specific. It's more you're finding a location. Great. Now we need to despawn some things. So let's despawn some things. Let's do... Actually, we need to... So I think despawn period is like 3 days. So we need to do update location set expiration date time equals just like some old thing where dynamic. Great. Now they're old. Well, you're still talking. Okay, that's fine. Now we'll do Python check delete flag. Yes, please. Then we'll just respawn some. That's probably going to work. Okay, this is kind of in my way. Okay. Select ID XY from location where name equals hidden valley. Player set X equals 1010, y equals 756. I did all the players, but this is dev, so it's fine. Insert into player location, player ID, location ID, accuracy, then values 26, 956, 8. Okay. Let's try again. Amazing. Roots of the first mountains. You've been made aware of this location, but you don't know too much about it. Well, we can change that. Player knowledge, set level equals 30. What I'm going to do is make it super duper easy for me. Although still kind of weird that we haven't been getting above 0, but we'll get to that. Where ID equals 65. Okay, so that should be very close to mastery. Not quite. We should be deep understanding 10. This location is almost within your grasp. Amazing. We are 0.00001 or something away. Let's do one more location. So update player set x equals 685, y equals 827. That's fine. Insert. Let's just copy this. Insert. 956, 957. Okay. Let's do it. This should be it. Cross your fingers. Well, that didn't work. I think there's clearly a bug where we unlock it after the first time, but we don't get any extra XP. Variation. Okay. I gather at a ruin with the same reward type for a second time. I'm not getting any levels XP for that reward type knowledge. Let's check the levels. Select all from player knowledge. Yeah, it is a float. Okay. So if that's not the issue is we're somehow just not giving any level bonuses when studying again. What's the formula? Times quality. It should be quality plus 1. Change the formula for all knowledge gain to use to multiply by quality plus 1 rather than plus quality. Yeah, so at some point early or midway in the design of the game, I had quality 1 be the base, and I then later changed it to be quality 0. So maybe there's a couple instances of this where okay, great. Anyway, we need to do one more of these, so let's just do one more. Update player set x equals, where are we at now? Let's do 918. Y equals 754. And then we'll have insert into player player location. Player ID, location ID, accuracy, values 26, 960, 8. Good. Okay. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Another gatherable. Okay, amazing. So we actually got XP. Great. Both the language, we've improved our language. It says 0, but I think we just got enough to get me a 31. And we discovered roots of the first mountains. Amazing. I want to make sure it's actually in alpha bounds, but let's just teleport there. So select ID XY from location where name equals roots of the first mountains. Update clear, set X equals 1193, Y equals 937. Let's see, and I didn't add it to my location, so it should be. I'm out of bounds. I need to extend this to the right a little bit. Let's do that. So it's alpha bounds is the thing. I think it's in map. Map, alpha bounds, alpha bounds. All right, well, I can just search it. I don't love the search thing here. Like, I just want to search by file name, not by that, but whatever. That's fine. Found it. Okay. Xmax, let's just bump it up by like 150. Sure, that's fine. I might have to reload. No, that worked. Okay. Amazing. I need to probably travel a bit because I was... Ugh, no, I need to reload the server probably. Okay, let's do this. Reload this. Oh, hey, reload. Local. Amazing. So I have found the entrance to Roots of the First Mountains, and I won't spend a lot of time on dungeons today because we have already spent 52 minutes, but what I can do is I can delve deeper, and this will take me to basically a random value of 1 to 10 deeper as in terms of the room number of the dungeon, and when I get past 10 I go down a floor, and I go down some number of floors until I reach the bottom of the dungeon, and the bottom is where the boss is. You maybe fight the boss, maybe win, maybe lose, and clear the dungeon and get some pretty nice rewards if that's the case. I'll delve. Yeah, I'll delve. Why not? Just to get a little preview. Here's me. I'm just hanging out over here, and here's some goblins. It looks like. I don't know if I've shown combat in this series yet, so maybe I'll just do a little combat. And just looking at my list real quick before I forget. Works need to populate all the language, dungeon, and skill rewards. Okay, so come back to that. But let's wrap up by defeating some goblins, and I wasn't really prepared for this. I'm not entirely sure what I have. I have plate mail, and I have a short sword that's about to break. Don't like that. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Update item, set durability is to 100. No, hold on. I need to look up the item type. Select ID from item type where name is short sword. Update item set durability equals 100 where item type ID is 19. Okay, a little cheating there. There we go. Okay, so yeah, one thing I've maybe not said yet is there is no repairing in this game. I want there to be a constant need to craft, and even if you crafted the coolest thing ever, it shouldn't be the coolest thing ever forever. It should be cool for a while, and you know there are ways to make things more durable and last longer, and that's fine. And generally your things aren't going to break after like 4 uses, but yeah, your things will break. In fact, everything will break. Houses, boats, weapons, gear, food, obviously you eat. In combat, anytime you're hit, a random piece of gear you have loses durability, and anytime you use your weapon, it loses durability. So that being said, I have some sword skills and a short sword. I'm going to switch into the parry stance, which is going to give me some dodge buffs. So my dodge went up to 6. And I have 1 action point left. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to go over here. You'll notice I have keyboard shortcuts on for this, which is part of the game. D is dash, M is move, just because you're going to be moving and maybe dashing pretty frequently. This is for capturing things. You can't capture NPCs. You can only capture animals. Although I think you can capture, yes, basically anything that's like humanoid-ish you can't capture. But that's that. Okay, Goblin Grunt Bow. Moved over there. Poisoned bow shot. He shot me with a poisoned bow. This guy's gonna run towards me, and stand right there. You can see I can't move into this abyss. I could move over here. I could move over here. I can't move on him. I am poisoned. I take 1 poison damage each turn for the next 6 turns. I have an inordinate amount of health, so I'm kind of cheating. I also have 50 defense because I'm wearing a plate mail on my chest. So, and this accuracy buff is coming from the fact that I have the sword skill, and I'm carrying a sword. If I wasn't carrying a sword, I would not be benefiting from my accuracy buff. I have some different attacks I can do, so let's move to him first. I could spend both my AP to cleave him, which does a bunch of damage. You can see I'm getting a buff from my swords. I could also do less damage, and I could maybe unbalance him for next turn. I think I'll do that, because I think these guys don't have like a ton of health. So I'm targeting him here. I can target him, but he's out of range. Target him, and I did 33 slashing damage, although he's not dead. But if I inspect him now, you can see he is unbalanced for 1 turn. The game is telling me this is an easy prey, so let's see if my logic for that is correct. And I take a poison damage, if you saw. You can see the bowman is like trying to get away, but stay in range. That is how their AI works. So they're like a ranged AI. They try to sort of keep you at max range and shoot you. These guys are aggressive. They come and stab you. I'm under 2 poison damage effects. Like, oh no, I'm gonna die. But if I actually had 100 health, I would be taking a couple of points a turn. That's pretty reasonable. But you'll notice that the dagger is not going to do much to me with 50 armor. So let's interesting. I don't have oh, I think I deleted. I think I was working on combat equipment the other day, or yesterday, and I wrote a script to pull in some base combat equipment stats from a CSV, and I think I might have overwritten. Yeah, I did. So there should be some basic actions here, like stab and whatnot. I need to put those back in my CSV. Add basic actions back to combat equipment. Do from CSV. Okay. I don't think I'll show that right now. Let's just finish this fight and then call it. So that's fine. I can just cleave this guy to death. Boom. Dead. Move. Go over here. Great. So why did he go towards me? Well, probably because he knows he can't get further out this way, so he's trying to get over the bridge and escape that way. Not sure if that was the best move, but you can only do so much with these AIs. I am going to actually switch stance to Pursuit, which took an AP, so I can't cleave him anymore, and I'm going to go sit next to him. That is because Pursuit, if I can show it, has a reaction. So if anyone leaves my combat range, I can hit them. It costs an AP, and between turns I have 2 AP, and on my turn I have 2 AP. So he's going to leave. I took some poison damage. He moves out. He runs away again. Reaction Pursuit. I smack him. He took 19 damage. He took less damage than the cleave because it's just a regular attack. It's not my like special cleave attack, which cleave does extra damage. My base sword damage is like 34. Cleave is actually, I think, 2.2 times your damage, but it uses all of your AP. I can't use it. I'm out of range. Let's move here, and then let's cleave this guy. I missed. I'm still in the pursuit stance though, so he is still going to get hit by a regular attack, or attempted to be hit. So even if I can't land a cleave the rest of this battle, he should maybe die from my pursuit attacks. Although he is really hitting me every time with that. And, you know, 3 pursuit attacks has not killed this thing, so maybe I need to reevaluate. But he's dead. I got some loot. I got some arrows. I got a goblin carcass, which maybe I can take back and butcher, and some stuff. So I'm in the same room. Notice I can do things. I could maybe mine. In this case, I can't. There's nothing here. But I could in theory. I'm actually going to make a note of that. Make sure we have gatherables configured for dungeon. Because I think I wanted it set up so that you could mine here. So the idea is you fight a level, and then after you're done fighting, you know, get some loot from the people you fought, but you can also maybe mine some rare things that are only found in the dungeon, and you only can come to this floor once. So, you know, you get to the boss room, you've gone through the dungeon, you're done. You can't mine anymore. I actually went down, I think, 10 levels to floor 1, so 10 rooms. Unless this is just room 0, which I started in. Actually, I think that's what it is. So, okay. That was a lot. That was an hour. I meant to go 30 minutes, but we got to do stuff. I've fixed, or at least figured out, how dungeon spawning works again after a few months. I will be loading up the correct ruins for you guys to explore and find this dungeon and find it repeatedly. It's over here. I might move it, TBD. But, you know, it's the kind of thing where once it's public where it is, it's not going to change. It's just that you can't discover it. You can't like come here and press explore. It's undiscoverable. It can only be added to your map by studying the ruins around the map. So that is what you'll need to do. Yeah, and I think that's good. I mean, we tested it, but I need to populate stuff. So, you know, we'll maybe sort of check this off. We added it to alpha bounds. Didn't do much else. We checked this was done. A lot of this is just content. I probably will not do another dev session video this week. I think I'm going to do a feature highlight in like a separate playlist, which will be shorter, I think, and more like a how-to, what is it, you know, what is crafting kind of thing. Whereas this series is more me actually working and what does that look like, and, you know, how do we progress game content. So maybe one more of these next week. I'll probably have done some of this in the meantime, and it could possibly be the last pre-closed alpha dev video, knock on wood. But otherwise, thanks for watching. If you watched the whole hour, that's pretty impressive, and see you next time.